Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation with Duckstation. Now, we talked about Duckstation yesterday on how it was alive and well and just got a brand new update for texture replacements. Anyways, here over on Android, it also received a brand new update for the first time since January. Now, unfortunately, the changelog for this one is pretty thin, and on the Duckstation website, there isn't any text about what's been updated just yet. On the Google Play Store, it says, as for what's new here, update to target SDK 34 and preparations for future updates. So unfortunately, I can't confirm everything that's been updated in this version of Duckstation, but at the same time here, it means that the Android version hasn't been forgotten about. It seems the Android version is going to continue to receive updates here and is still alive and well, which is amazing news if you're on Android. Moving on, and we're talking about Game Boy emulation with PyBoy, and PyBoy is a Game Boy emulator written in Python and just got a big performance update. So at the time of filming, version 2.4.0 is the latest update for PyBoy. And they say here it's got massive performance improvements between 10 and 40%. That is absolutely huge. And there's also accuracy improvements. They say CPU and memory timings have been corrected. PyBoy is 100% free. It's open source. It's on GitHub. And like everything I talk about in this video, link will be in the description below right at the bottom. My news is 100% open source. I don't hide my sources. Next up, we're talking about the unofficial PC port of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And this has been making the news very recently. It's Pikmin in Ocarina of Time. There's a modder here who has modded them into the game, and they're actually functional, and they do cause a bit of chaos. I'll drop a link to this YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. It's very interesting and chaotic. And for reference, this is the exact same modder we talked about a while back when they modded in the Falcon Punch into Ocarina of Time. And they also modded in the Ultra Hand. So if you wanted to check these things out, I do recommend checking out their YouTube channel. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo versus modded hardware. And I believe we talked about this one a while back when Nintendo launched a lawsuit against modded hardware. They weren't happy that modded hardware was selling mod chips as well as stuff like the MiG Switch. So Torrent Freak reports that earlier this year, Nintendo initially threatened modded hardware with a lawsuit and told them basically to stop selling modded hardware, which is modded switches, as well as MiG Switch flashcards. And modded hardware agreed apparently, and then I guess they just didn't stop. So this appears to be a quote from the lawsuit. Defendant, which is modded hardware, not only offers the hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, but he also provides his customers with copies of pirated Nintendo games. Now this is where things start to get very interesting. So apparently modded hardware denies any wrongdoing. And this week Ryan Daly filed an answer to the complaint. And here is one of the answers. I guess you can call it an answer. Defendant is the owner and operator of a for-profit online business known as Modded Hardware, located at moddedhardware.com. And it says the defendant offers for sale a variety of products and services designed to circumvent and bypass Nintendo's TPMs. And Ryan Daly's answer is denied, whatever that means. And taking a look at the entire document here, and well, the answers from Ryan seem to follow the very same structure. Very short, not a whole lot of detail, and I don't exactly know what's going on. I don't know what he means by just flat out saying denied. Anyways, here, from my understanding, the next step is discovery, and I think Ryan is representing himself, which may go poorly or very good if he knows what he's talking about. Who knows here, but I'm paying attention to this one just to see what happens. Let me know your thoughts about this lawsuit in the comments below. My gut tells me on this one that Nintendo is probably going to take a similar approach as they did against Team Executor to shut that down as well. Who knows here, but I am paying attention to this one, and hopefully we find out more information soon. But moving on, and next up we're talking about Alien Isolation, and this might be some very, very good information if you're a fan of Alien Isolation. So this information comes right from the Alien Isolation Twitter X account. It's from Al Hope, the creative director of Alien Isolation. It's titled "To Our Fans Around the World." And here are the couple of paragraphs that are getting people very excited. On the 10th anniversary, it seems only fitting to let you know that we have heard your distress calls loud and clear. Today, I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the team that a sequel to Alien Isolation is in early development. We look forward to sharing more details with you when we're ready. So unfortunately, I don't have any information on release dates, platforms, trailers, game prices, or anything just yet. There's no information other than this post, but this post I think is going to give a lot of people hope. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Are you excited for an Alien Isolation sequel? And on a side note here, if you've never played Alien Isolation, right now on Steam it's got a very positive review score with over 41,000 reviews. And the entire Alien Isolation collection is on sale for a whopping 85% off. Not a bad time to get into the series. And speaking about series, next up here we're talking about Halo and 343 Studios, or should I say formerly known as 343 Studios here, because 343 Studios just got rebranded to Halo Studios. 343 Studios is dead and Halo Studios is now alive. Now, renaming things from 343 Studios to Halo Studios was not the only thing discussed in this video. In the 6.5 minute long video, they also covered something very important. And this is arguably much bigger than the naming convention here. They say join members of the Halo Studios team and go behind the scenes with Project Foundry, a multidisciplinary research project designed to explore the creative potential of Unreal for the next generation of Halo games. So it seems that Halo is moving to Unreal Engine, which may be great news for some people or horrible news if you don't like Unreal Engine. But I think this is going to be pretty big for the series and pretty big for Halo overall, and may introduce brand new elements to Halo games. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below if you've seen the trailer. On a side note, here's some of the top comments from that video. Just get the physics right. I want to see a ghost go flying when I hit it with a gravity hammer. I want to see a blinding explosion followed by debris showering the battlefield when I shoot down a phantom. You have to nail the feel of Halo before you do anything else. Halo was never just a graphics showcase. It was a passion project motivated by a desire to make something fun to play. That's why even the original Halo Combat Evolved still holds up today despite the outdated graphics. If this future Unreal Halo isn't fun, the updated graphics and easier tools won't mean a thing. And finally, NGL, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Not Gonna Lie, depending on how you interpret that. Not gonna lie, it's hilarious knowing that they changed the studio name because they needed to specify we are not that studio everybody hates anymore. Next up, we're talking about RIOT and Deadlock, and there was a very interesting rumor online that gained a lot of traction that RIOT had partnered with Tencent to develop a Deadlock competitor with a $200 million investment cost. Anyways, it turns out that that rumor was completely unfounded. Joe Hickson, who is the communications manager, I think, over at RIOT, says, I see a lot of crazy rumors, but this extra fake. Some notes, the article in the screenshot doesn't even exist. Tencent doesn't fund our dev like this. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. There's a lot cooking in R&D, but nothing like Deadlock. So there you have it, and it also appears that the tweet that Joe Hickson was referencing has since been deleted. So if you were hopeful for RIOT developing a Deadlock competitor, you're going to be having to wait quite a while, or possibly forever. Next up here, we're talking about the NUON, and the NUON is getting its very first game in something like 20 years here, and it does remind me quite a bit of Star Fox. It's called Ring Flyer, and it's coming out this November. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this game, and the part that reminds me of Star Fox are just how the rings are and I guess flying through them, and that's really about it. I don't know if there's combat in this game. I don't know how many missions there are. But it's exciting that the NUON is getting a brand new game. For those who may not be aware, the NUON was a DVD console that was released back in 2000 and discontinued in 2003-2004. And this game is up for pre-order right now right on Songbird Productions website for about $60. It does include the game and a manual and a box. And last up here, we're talking about a very interesting Easter egg that was found in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, the one on the GameCube. And interestingly here, this was undiscovered for over 20 years. It can be performed on a console or in an emulator, and it requires a specific controller input. And the Easter egg is a credit screen to an engineering team. Now, from my understanding, this entire Easter egg is just these 6 engineers here, and that's it. And as soon as you're done reading them, you can go right back into the game. There's no impact, nothing. This whole discovery came from Yanis, who says, yesterday I worked on decompiling the Japanese version of the N64 emulator used in Majora's Mask. After matching some files, I remembered there was text data containing devs' names, so I followed the code out of curiosity to see if it was possible to show it in-game. And it turns out it was possible. And I'm wondering if Nintendo knew about this, because it's a very weird Easter egg for Nintendo stuff, unless I'm wrong. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Do you think the broader Nintendo team knew about this, or do you think this is something the engineers just kind of snuck in? But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff in the legendary one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.